So I said during my Marvel's biggest problem is Spider-Man video that this was going to get its own video because this was very excellent. This is very good. And I wanted to talk about it by itself because it's a good example of good comics. So I want to talk about another good example of good comics is my next video after this, which will definitely be Bigfoot Bill by Doug TenNapel. This is excellent. I am so impressed by this book. I just wanted to give it a shout out because, man, this is very good. So that will be tomorrow's video. I got to sit down and read it. I don't want to rush through it because it's very good, and I think it's going to get a very long video. But anyway, this is Symbiote Spiderman, and if you notice right away, the writer, this is a variant cover that I got. I just like this one because I love Black Suit Spider-Man. I think the time that he was with the symbiote was some really good comics, and I really like this suit. I think this suit, I think they should have stuck with it in many ways. I just love it. It's just I don't know how to explain it. I've always loved the black suit, and when this was announced, it's like, they're doing a lot of milking of Spider-Man, and it is a problem. But when they can do it good, they do it good. Like Life of Spider-Man, it's great. But here's what really drew me to this, because I was going to skip it. But then I saw Peter David, who, if you don't know, is a long-time guy in the industry, really kind of known for his Hulk stuff, which I never really got into. But I know who he is. He's a legend. And he's done a lot of legendary stuff. And when I saw his name on the credits of this book, I was like, okay, I got to check this out. And you got Greg Land on here. I mean, there's a lot of names on here that people know. So I was like, okay, I got to check this out. So what this is they're just telling a story in between, issues from back in the day when Spider-Man had the black suit and was infected by the symbiote. So it's a little bit after Secret Wars. He doesn't know that the suit is alive. And this is going to kind of lead up to him figuring that out, which is kind of the point. And it starts off, so this is actually the end of the issue almost. Now, this is the thing about this issue. So here's what's going on here. This is a Spider-Man and Mysterio story. And the reason that they're doing this is obviously to kind of tie into the upcoming movie. And this is a good way to do that. Now, if I were to go see, and if I was going to go see Spider-Man and Mysterio's in there, and I was curious about where the comics are, and I would walk in there, I'm guessing that Mysterio and Spider-Man will be on the cover together at that point. And I were to buy that, if those future issues are as good as this one, I would be more inclined to maybe check out more comics. This is probably the smartest kind of selling tie-in to a movie that they've done. And what I like is you get a lot of humanization of Mysterio. Like, you really get to feel for him in some ways. And I always think, when you can kind of relate to the villain and really feel for them, that really always does make things better. It's a problem that a lot of the Marvel movies have, to be honest, is they don't really do very well with their villains. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Thanos is probably the best example of using a villain that they've done in a long time, to be honest. He was very well done. But anyway, so this is really kind of Mysterio trying to lay down a new kind of heist. He wants to rob a bank. This will boost him up to being a top level villain. And this guy he's hanging out with, this is Mysterio out of the costume, is like, have you ever killed anybody? And he's like, of course I have, but he hasn't. And he goes to rob a bank, and it's actually kind of funny. Like it's really, the art in this is awesome, by the way. And he gives this woman the mask. He's like, put this mask on. She does, and the security guard ends up showing up like he was in the bathroom, and he shoots at him. It misses, but it ends up killing the teller. So this makes him like directly responsible for her death, which ends up affecting him. Like, so, and this is another thing I like. So Black Cat is in this issue. She's in probably going to be in all of these issues. And they're both at the cemetery because if you didn't know, Black Cat, Felicia Hardy, and Peter Parker used to be a thing. And Felicia is super attracted to Spider-Man. She's not attracted to Peter Parker at all. She thinks Peter Parker is disgusting in many ways. It's the spider that turns her on. And this was an attempt to maybe get her to know Peter Parker. And he takes her to the cemetery to learn about Uncle Ben. And he tells her about, great power, great responsibility. And while he's there, Mysterio is there. And he's mourning over the death of the teller that he indirectly killed, because, well, he was there and he robbed that bank, which got her to die, and he feels horrible about it. And, Spider-Man ends up doing that. And, of course, you also find out he's still a little piece of garbage. He doesn't want to admit that he killed the teller, so he said the teller was his sister. Because Spider-Man's like, what were you doing at that graveyard? You kill that teller? And he's like, no, that's my sister. I was mourning her. Spider-Man, of course, is like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. This fooled him. And he ends up blowing the warehouse that he was in down. And of course, I want to take a second to notice this art too, right? This looks amazing. This is really good. When you see stuff like this, this is a top-notch book, from its art to its colors to its story. We go here, and Mysterio ends up seeing him have the suit come on and off. Doesn't see his identity though, and he notices that, hey, this there's something more to this suit than that. So, as you can see here, this is going to be a Mysterio and Spider-Man story, which, like I said, ties into the movie, but it does a good thing, is actually getting you intrigued by how good the book is, which is very rare nowadays in comics. So, like Life of Spider-Man, this is something that I recommend. I really liked this a lot. And, it's another example of Marvel not promoting very well good things. Like, this is a book like Life of Spider-Man. They should promote more because they're good. Like, this book is what comics should be. But, unfortunately, Marvel throwing their mud at the wall and seeing what sticks versus, going with more good stuff like this is a problem. And this book probably won't sell well. You know why? Because, like I said in the last video, they put out 4 Spider-Man books in one new comic book day. And that alone is a humongous problem. But anyway, if you watch this and you go to the comic shop and they have any of these, definitely check it out. This is a really fun issue. Really captures a lot of stuff about Spider-Man. It's a really good Mysterio story, and I think there's a lot to like here. So check it out. Next video, Sunday, will be Bigfoot Bill. And I'm really looking forward to doing that video because it's really good. I got a lot to say about it. Thanks.